3 job openings in the state of Alabama. And then all of them paid more than $7.75 an hour. I said, well, I don't know. And then, as we were sitting on the radio show today, they said, well, if you could, would you? And I said, that's going to involve some things. I have to completely give up my private name, and I have to take a legal name change. But I could do that. And they said, well, how would you manage to get things accomplished? And I said, well, it's very simple. When the serious business of seeing to it that Alabama isn't over $80 million short in education comes up, I happen to have a Ralph Lauren polo 3-piece suit that is absolutely devastatingly smooth and handsome. That's the advantage to me being a drag queen. I don't have to walk the transgendered mile like these people who are trying to suffer through life in Alabama, quietly and on their own, and just suffer their own little indignity and please not be noticed while I try and find a way to feel like a human being when I walk among everybody else. That's all they want. But if you go through that mile, you're going to find yourself unemployed right quick like, and it's perfectly legal. Even as a drag queen who can take my stuff off and I can creep around in the dark and I don't have to come out into the light. Even as a drag queen who might not even do shows but twice a month. My landlord can catch me outside and I can have an eviction notice on my door the next day. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I've been through this. Let me say this. I have been through this. I have gone, paid my first, paid my last month's rent. I've paid my security deposit. I have moved in. Lord knows I'm cash strapped and wiped out because we already mentioned the minimum wage is going to be $7.75 an hour as long as we keep the Republicans in office, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, you know, how in the world am I going to immediately scrape up money when my landlord finds out who I am and what I do and tells me that it's time for me to get out? I'm financially strapped and wiped. My little minimum wage barely keeps food on the table and things going. What do I do? I guess I got to open up that suitcase. I ain't got no choice. I'm 40. I'm not going to tell you exactly how old I am because you might be able to take that. I'll put it to you this way. In the words of the noble Alabama citizen, Miss Peggy Scott Adams, I'm somewhere between 35 and 50. And I'm not telling you how close I am, but I'm pretty tight there in the middle. There are times when I certainly do not enjoy the pains in my feet. But I enjoy inspiring somebody and making them forget for just a few seconds that outside those doors, anybody can treat them any way they want to, and it's okay. I will walk myself out of a pair of pumps if that's what it takes to call attention to the fact that as decent and civilized Americans up here, we treat each other that way. If running for governor is what it takes, I am all for it. You know, I'm not trying to, and please understand, I want to include the straight community when I say this because, and I'm not trying to talk down to you, but you know, y'all been hiring us to teach those girls how to walk in them shoes at pageants for years. You know, if you need somebody to show the Alabama State Legislature, you know, what it looks like to walk with dignity no matter what you do and do your job,
Yes.
then that's fine. I'm sorry, you're not done yet. Session's not over. Okay, you can get a break according to the Constitution, according to saying we have to have the break. But when we get back, there ain't no walkoutsies. Show up at the state courthouse.
Yeah.
Do your job. Show up at Congress when it's time to vote. If you're in Washington D.C., you have the responsibility to be in that room, representing the people of the United States of America. That's why they put you there in the first place. That's why your offices are close by. That's what the Founding Fathers meant. They didn't mean for us to sit there and, you know, sell our natural resources or destroy our groundwater trying to, you know, trying to perpetuate a finite energy source. They're not You know, there's a reason why, there's a reason why all these things are wrong. And we know they're wrong. We know that all of these things I'm talking about are wrong. But fundamentally, the one thing we can all fix, if you're on the other side of that lens, we can all fix how we treat each other today. We don't have to wait for them to enact fairness. We can treat each other decently today. Okay? When we treat each other decently out there in public, that's when we know that everything's going to be all right. If you want Ambrosia Starling for governor, if you think that that's what it's going to take, baby, I am all there and all for it. But between now and then, you remember, one thing, if you don't ever see me again and they never want to look at me with these cameras, liberty and justice is for all, not some. Freedom and democracy is one of the most beautiful things in the world. And if we want to hold ourselves up to the world as the shining light of freedom and democracy, then what we need to do is start living up to being the shining light of freedom and democracy. That means fair treatment and mutual respect for every citizen. Period. Fair treatment and mutual respect for every citizen. Period. I'm going to say it one more time. Fair treatment and mutual respect for every citizen. That's my platform for this right here. Okay? If that's what you want, if this is what you want, that's my platform. Fair treatment for every single citizen. That's all we're asking, because when we require ourselves to be treated fairly, we treat others fairly. That's all. You know, there's more to us as Americans and as Alabama citizens than this. And if this is what it takes to straighten out the circus in Montgomery, holla.